Good morning, it's Peaches. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, today y'all gonna watch me do some acrylic flowers. We're gonna do a full nail too. Okay, so I do this quite often. Fun fact, I used to did not like doing acrylic flowers until I learned the way I like to do it. Like once I stopped watching tutorials and try to just learn from people and do it the way I like to do it, then I started to like them for reals, you know. So anyways, first step is I personally start by putting down some bling in different areas of the nail. Now this is for a full nail of flowers. I will probably do other videos on like how I do like flowers that have 4 petals. Sometimes I do 1, sometimes I do 2, sometimes I do flowers where the petals are like more in an X shape instead of just like 4, like 1 on each side. So I'll do other videos in the future, but today we're gonna just go ahead and start with this one. Okay, so I put the bling on. It seems random, but honestly I can see in my head how I kind of want the flowers to be, like where the petals to sit, but at the end of the day it is still kind of random. I would just say place your bling in different air. Yeah, I'm so sorry, it's like 7 in the morning, almost 8 in the morning, and I've not had no water yet, so my voice is a little like okay. So yeah, place the bling how you think would give you like enough coverage to be a full nail of flowers. Okay, so I'm so sorry, this first bead is going to be kind of hard to see actually, but it's still there. So basically, if you saw the size and the texture of the bead, then how do I explain this, y'all? I'm gonna have to wait until you guys can have like a little bit of a better view. But basically that is the size and texture that I like to be the bead to be, and then I'll just kind of sit it down, and depending on if the bead is stiff enough, like you see how this is like a little bit stiff, not too loose, not too wet, not too dry, it needs to kind of be like this, so that way you can mold it. You see how I'm molding it? And your brush needs to be not very wet, because the wetter your brush, the more monomer you're adding into that flower, which is going to make the flower loose, and we don't want the flower to be loose because it's going to be too hard to shape and mold. Okay, so once it is the right texture, I am taking this brush. This is like a size 4 brush, and I don't know where I got it from. I was just in San Jose and I was like, boom, pow, like I got this literally a year ago. And mine's, unfortunately, something is kind of wrong with it. I think it's because I use it so often. I be running my brushes into the ground, and I really don't be having backups or replacements. So I think that's why my brushes really kind of get messed up after a year or 2, whatever. So yeah, that is the general basis of how I do my flowers. Okay, and when you guys are able to see a little bit more, then I will go ahead and go into like more detail. But you see how I dip my brush and I get rid of a lot of the liquid, you see? And now look how it can hold on. See what it looks like when I set it down, how it's like loose but not too loose. See how I can like move it? It looks like it's gonna squish and be flat. Don't get scared, because while it's still kind of wet, you have to start the process of this. And you see how I'm letting it sit? I like for my the part that's near the bling, I like that to like be pinched in. So that's what I was doing when I swiped the sides in, to make sure that the flower is fanning out but the inner corners are still pinched in. And these type of brushes, they're very flat. Mine does not stay flat, so you're gonna see me like rubbing it between my fingers to like pinch it. And that's also why I keep rubbing it into the monomer like that, is to keep it from my actual brush from fanning out. But from the side view, the brush is completely flat. So this is called a 3D art brush. I mean a 3D nail brush, and it's specifically made like this. Okay, so again, you see how when I set the bead down, it just stay there, like it stays, but when I like press the side of my brush in it, the super flat part, it starts to mold it. So you're gonna have to keep going back and forth, play with it, unless you like a slightly drier texture. You might not have to go back and forth too much, but you are gonna have to find the right texture for you. Okay, the right bead for you. I personally like to go with beads that like are, for this type of brush, it's a bigger bead. I'm not even gonna cap, not gonna front. In general, it is not a big bead, but for this type of brush, it is a bigger bead because this brush is so small. So here we go again. I dip off most of the monomer. I dip it again. Dab it. And now, the way I arrange my petals is based on where is it empty. So the first one, I knew I kind of wanted one that was like near the cuticle and the other two off to the side. I knew for this flower, I wanted one that was going, one petal that was like on the top. So I'm taking that petal and I'm using that since it's empty right there because I did a 3 petal flower. I'm gonna go, see how my brush is messed up? Yeah. It should not be like that. You see, it should not be like that. That's why I keep doing this. Anyways, so I knew I want this one to be a 3 petal flower, and I'm just gonna go ahead and fan it on out to fill in the empty space. So I'm sorry if y'all can hear my back crack. So that's basically how you're gonna start your arrangement. Like wherever it is empty, that's where the next petal is gonna be. So you see how I still have time to mold it because I started with the texture of a bead that was like not too wet, not too dry. It stays moldable for longer, okay? So see, I'm gonna pinch the inner corners because I like my flowers to like not be on top of the bling. I like space before the bling. That's just my personal preference. A lot of people describe my flowers like Hawaiian style flowers, like, you know, and I'm not mad at that because I feel like it is kind of accurate in a way. Depending on the day, sometimes they're a little bit more spread out, sometimes they're a little bit flatter, sometimes the edges are raised up more, and that will all that will all be decided by, you see how, I'm sorry, my train of thought, but you see how when I push down, it makes the edges like thick. That is how you get a flower petal that is like thick around the edges like that, because you need to use a bigger bead and you need to wait for it, like the consistency to be right. So see, now it's not too wet, not too dry, but still moldable. That is how you get edges that raise off of the nail. Because if you do it and it's too wet, what's gonna happen is it's gonna be completely flat as hell. And you're gonna be mad and you're gonna be like, I'm so irritated, I'm so mad. Like, yeah, you're gonna be mad. Okay. So now I got those 2 flowers. Those 2 petals. I'm gonna do a third one on this side because I know the next flower down is not gonna be able to like reach any of this area over here with the petals. So knowing that, I know I need a petal that's gonna be over here. I also like my actual petals not to touch. If you can see, like each petal is its own individual area. That's my preference. Some people like all the petals to touch. Some people like really small petals that are like 4 petal flowers, where it's like one perfectly on each side. I don't mind my petals going different directions. I don't mind the flowers looking like I just like them to do their thing, and I like them to I don't like a lot of empty space basically. So this is just how I do it, okay? So now these brushes are made, they're very thin at the tip and they're thicker towards the base of the brush, and that is so you can get a variety of different styles. Some people like doing rose petals. I actually had a someone who when I worked in a shop and we was cool, she tried to teach me acrylic flowers and I really wanted to learn from her, but her flowers were more of the petals that were like on top of each other, kind of like making a rose, and I just could not, like, that was just not for me. I couldn't get it right. It was making me not like doing flowers, and so eventually I just tried to do a different way, and this is the method I settled on, and I really like it. So this, as you can see, I used a way bigger bead, and this is because there was going to be a lot of empty space over here. So because of that, I went ahead and decided to make the executive decision to go ahead and do a way bigger petal over here. You can see it is kind of touching the petal over there, and that's okay. I'm gonna just try and go ahead and clean it up, kind of separate it and everything like that. Now when you're working with these type of beads, the only reason I'm really dipping my brush back in a lot is because my brush is messed up. That's why I'm brushing in the liquid to kind of flatten out my brush, and then I wipe it on the paper towel so much to get rid of that excess liquid. Because when your bead is already, like when it's not all the way dry, you don't need any more liquid. You can keep messing with it. And at a certain point, even adding liquid to it, see how I can still kind of like, you know, mess with this one a little bit while I'm waiting for that one to dry up some. And now you see what type of consistency it needs to be. Like I was saying, I'm not gonna keep adding actual liquid. See how I wipe it off? I'm just doing that to kind of like help my brush because it's messed up. Otherwise, I would just keep going. Now, I recently did get a new brush, and I used it yesterday for flowers, and I really liked it. It is kind of differently shaped, and I kind of had to learn how to, like, the tip of that brush is way skinnier. It comes to like a point, but it still gives me the same result, so that's fine. But this video was done like over a week ago, or like a week ago. Not even a week ago, I'm lying. This was a couple days ago, to be honest with you. So yeah, just a disclaimer on that. But so now for this little area over here, I decided I did want another petal because I did not want that empty space. Now when you're doing flowers and they're like extending off the edge like this, you really need to have the right consistency. So see how I let it sit, and see how it is still kind of watery. I'm kind of just playing with it. And the reason why I let it be a little bit more on the wetter side is just because I need to find what shape is going to fit that area. Unfortunately, you can't see. I am kind of off screen because of the way I have to hold my hands. And that's another thing. You can't be scared to hold your hands in all different directions to move the client around, because you're not going to be able to do all these flowers from just simply one angle. And you're going to have to practice being comfortable with your hands. Okay, because at first it is kind of scary, like, dang, I have to move this way, I have to move that way, but you'll get the hang of it. And so, you know, don't trip, don't worry. But you can see that one is kind of aimed an interesting way, and the reason that is just because I know I'm going to take another bead, well, I'm doing it right now, and I am going to thicken up that flower, because I used too small of a bead previously. So yeah, I'm just going to add another bead. And I can do a tutorial on how to like fix flowers if you guys want, because you can't see this very well. But I basically put another bead on there, and I am using that bead, you see, to like fan the flower out more to have the same look as the rest. And sometimes that happens, okay? Sometimes you do have to kind of, you know, hey, I used too small of a bead, let me just go back and add another one to it, basically. So you can see it's coming together. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes at first you think, well, I have a couple petals on here, I don't know how they look, they don't look too good. And then the more petals you add, you start having more confidence, like, hey, this really look like something. And there's a lot of clients out there that like have not had the option, maybe with other nail techs, or especially like shops that have 3D flowers or really nice looking ones. So they be so shook, child. They be so freaking shook. Like, oh my gosh, this is magic. This is crazy. Now, I will say, it does take a while because you do have to play with them and they do have to dry. So don't be thinking this is taking like just a little bit of time. Well, you can see this is in real time. And I'm pretty sure this finger took me, like close to 15 minutes or something. So don't be, you personally need to know how much time this will take you. So that way, if you're adding it to a set or somebody wants it, you can include it in your time. If you are a little bit on the slower side, you know, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody gotta learn, okay? So with this one, I'm gonna do 2 petals. So I'm gonna do one on top. See, okay? And then this, I'm testing to see, okay, is it ready? Is it ready? All right, let's see. Let it wait for a second. Bam. Let's get it ready. Let's go. So sometimes when it's not all the way dry enough and you like dip your brush into there, you see from the side, and mine just kind of messed up. So this is kind of benefiting me because I need the flower to like stiffen up some. So sometimes when it is not ready, it will like fan out way too much, and I'll have to go and repinch, I guess. See this, I'll have to redo that to keep the shape of the flower that I like. And yeah, you guys, every time I do acrylic flowers, I do them all the same. It's always this method. However, like I said, sometimes I fan them out more. Sometimes I make them bigger or smaller or flatter a little bit. So I will continue to do videos on acrylic flowers, and I'll probably make a playlist because they just so doggone cute to me. Like, I love an acrylic flower, honey. Okay? I love it. So, honestly, you guys, we're pretty much coming to the end of this video. And you guys have watched me do a full nail of acrylic flowers. I did not record the other hand because honestly I did the same exact thing with the other hand. And I hope this video helps somebody. I have seen a lot of you guys' comments, and I've seen new subscribers, and I'm so excited, you guys. I'm almost to 200 subscribers. Like, it makes me so freaking happy. You guys don't even know. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Nails by Pretty Face. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. The acrylic toes video is not working out, but I got a cow print video coming to y'all soon. Okay, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.